Okay, guys, so let's get started. By the time few more will join, that's fine. I hope my voice is clear. There is no echo, anything. I hope everything is clear. Can anyone confirm, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, so guys, welcome to the Selenium with C# course here at Way to Automation. Okay, so before going into the details of the content, what we are going to cover in this course, and what will be you learn, what will be the outcome of this course. I'll briefly give my introduction to all of you so that you guys you know have understanding about my past experience and everything. So my name is Rahul Jha, and I have more than 10 years of experience in QA, mostly on automation side. So in automation, I have around 8 years of experience. Uh, as far as my automation experience is concerned, I have worked on Selenium with Java, Selenium with C#. I have worked on Rest Assured for API testing, API automation, Postman. I have also worked on Golang for API testing. I have experience with C# Renorex as well for desktop-based application automation. And I have worked on WebDriver IO as well with TypeScript. So I have vast experience of different technologies, different tools, I would say, I have worked upon. And I have also, if you talk about my teaching experience, I have vast experience of teaching as well. So in Way to Automation itself, I have taken, classes for Java almost 3 years, and for API automation, for Selenium architect kind of courses, I have already taken in Way to Automation. Now I'm starting with Selenium C# course here at Way to Automation. So if you talk about my teaching experience, I have almost 3 to 4 years of experience, and I've trained more than 500, 600 students at Way to Automation when I was taking the Java and the API automation classes. So that is about my past experience. Now, many of you would have already worked on Selenium with any other language. You want to learn Selenium with C#, or you did not have worked on any of the automation tool. You want to learn from the basic, from the scratch. So that's fine. That is not any kind of concern is there. As far as you put your effort, you go through the videos, the classes, and whatever content I am delivering. And if you follow my instruction, believe me, you will be very, very good in automation, primarily in Selenium C# after course is finished. So that is my guarantee. The only thing that I would expect from you guys is that you put the effort and follow my instruction. That's it. Before I move into much more details, any question you want to you guys have, or any expectation you guys have, you want to ask, you can ask me, because this is kind of a introduction class. I'm not going to talk about any technical stuff today in detail. I'll show you the installation part and all those things, what we are going to learn. But any kind of question if you have, you can ping me in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself, you can ask the question. Yeah, anyone would like to ask anything?
Hi, Rahul, Vipin here. Actually,
Yeah.
I tried to learn Selenium with C# from my end, but what happened, like my laptop is old, almost like 8 years old. So my RAM is 4 GB. So means like Visual Studio is working very slow in my laptop. So I uninstall it. So that is and after that also I tried, so it was working very slow. So since I need to upgrade my RAM to do this, and will you cover spec flow also in this course?
Yeah. So there are two questions. First of all, yeah, definitely if you're using, so in when you're learning Selenium with C#, definitely you need some editor or some IDE. So Visual Studio is one of the most famous IDE for Selenium C#, primarily for C#. But Visual Studio is a heavy, software because it is an IDE. So definitely, if you want to continue with Visual Studio, you'll have to have, at least 8 GB of RAM, because it's a heavy software, to be honest. there is one more alternative there, which is Visual Studio Code. Okay, so Visual Studio Code is not an IDE, it's a editor provided by Microsoft. So that also I'll be taking, examples in the classes. But for the initial classes, I will be taking the Visual Studio, I'll be taking the help of Visual Studio itself to set up the initial installation and all those things. But I would tell you how you can work on Visual Studio Code as well, which is a very lightweight and it will work fine with 4 GB of RAM. But that we can discuss, later as well. Second, am I going to cover the spec flow? Definitely, I'm going to cover the spec flow as well. So I will show you the course content. Okay. So anybody have any other question, or I'll start with my, I'll first cover the course content, what we are going to learn here.
Rahul, I have one question.
Yeah, one by one, please. Yeah.
Are you covering the Cucumber BDD framework?
Yeah. So yeah, for Cucumber, or we would say the behavior-driven development, we are going to use spec flow. Like Cucumber, you can use for Java, Ruby. In C#, we have spec flow, which we are going to cover. The language will be the same Jerkin language, but here we will be using a different library, which is spec flow, but similar to Cucumber.
So only spec flow only will support Cucumber?
Yeah, Cucumber is a different library altogether. Cucumber, you can say spec flow is a Cucumber for C#.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is a C# binding. For Java, you have Cucumber. For C# you have spec flow, but it's similar.
Okay.
Any other question? This should be an interactive session, guys. You should clear all your doubts and you should be comfortable and confident before we start the actual classes.
So this can't be done on Eclipse?
Sorry, what you said?
So C# language can't be learned on Eclipse IDE. Is that not possible?
Eclipse, I think that do support C# and not that sure. But for C#, you should use either Visual Studio itself, because Visual Studio provides much more sophisticated development environment for C# or .NET based application development, or you can go for Visual Studio Code. Both are fine. But for Eclipse, I think Eclipse does have the plugins available for C# based application development. But again, I would recommend to use Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio IDE.
Okay.
Now Srini has a question. Do I need to have a prior experience of Selenium? No, not at all. This is going to be very thorough course, both for C# and for Selenium, from the scratch, from the basic till the framework development. And you will be comfortable enough to say that I have, more than 1.5, 2 years of experience. Believe me, that will happen, but just have some patience. But it will be from the basics. So if you don't have any Selenium experience, that's fine. No problem.
So even if you don't have any Selenium experience, everything will be covered from scratch?
Yeah, everything will be covered from the scratch, from the basics.
Okay. So only over the weekends, right? Not daily kind of a thing?
Yeah, it will be over the weekends.
Okay, thank you.
And whatever, like my teaching methodology is completely different. What I do, like if you can find n number of tutorials available on YouTube, on Udemy. So many other sources are available. Now, most of the trainer available there, they start from the framework. Like if you go through the course, they don't cover the fundamental things. When they cover the framework designing, they will start creating the framework from creating the setup class and all those things. But they do not explain why we need the setup class, why we need the config file, why we need the test data, and so on. So my approach when we will cover the framework designing, because that is the most important part in any automation. Because when you will be going for interviews, when you will be working real life project, framework development is important, most important. So my approach is going to be bottom to top, not the top to bottom, where they start creating the base class, setup class and everything, then they come to test class. No. My approach will be, I'll be starting with the test set and test cases, and from there I'll create the framework. So
okay. One more
approach will be very different. Yeah, please go ahead.
So we will be able to confidently build the frameworks on our own, right? Any hybrid
Exactly.
kind.
Yes. Selenium with C#, you will be able to create framework from the scratch.
Okay. So basic plus advanced, everything will be covered here.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
So, okay, you can, in between also, yeah, we are going to have only weekend class. Because I'm a working professional, I don't have weekdays, bandwidth. So I'll be taking the classes on weekends itself. And most of the guys, you are also working. So I think that is better to have the classes on weekend. Ravi is asking what is the duration. Duration will be, 2.5 months of course will be, where I will be covering the C# and Selenium. So better is to go through the content now, and then I'll go to the setup and all those things. So I'll start with the course content first. I'll show you the course content, what I'm going to cover. I hope Rahul Arora would have already shared this over the email, but I would cover the content first. Let it get open. Just a minute. So today is a kind of introduction and a demo class. So that is not covered in this PDF. Yeah, I would ask Rahul Arora to share this over the email. Yeah, I will do that. Don't worry. Okay, I'll share my contact detail as well at the end. You can contact me anytime. That's not a problem. And
how many sessions will be there, or how many days it will take?
It will be Saturday, Sunday, 2 hours, at least 2 hours class.
Okay, like that, how many weekends it will happen?
Let's see, for now, I have assumed that it will take 22 classes. So I'll go one by one. I'll show you that what I'm going to cover. And then, because this is I cannot fix right now that how many classes I'm going to cover. It depends upon the pace of the students, the audience, because I don't want to left anyone not understanding anything. So I will take everyone, together, we will learn and we will conquer the Selenium. That's my target. But I would like to cover the course within 2.5 months, because, you guys also have, few commitments toward your company or your project. So initially, like today, if you don't talk about today's session, in the next session, I will be starting with C# installation. This I will cover today only. Creating a C# project, I will cover today only. That's fine. So initially, what I'm going to cover is C# basics, where I will be talking about string class, the basic data types in C, how to create, first program in C#, running programming in C#, if else statement, loops, operators, arrays, very important topic, arrays, both 1D and multidimensional arrays I will be covering, and the uses of array in Selenium. Then I will be talking about functions in C#. Functions are nothing but method which you call in Java method. These are the same thing, functions, parameterized functions, returning values from a functions. Then we will talk about different type of variables in C#, like local, global, static, non-static, the importance of static in C#. Then we will, begin with the OOPS concept in C#, like class and object, how to create object, how to, call by value versus call by reference, constructors, and, and we will be continuously talking about OOPS, because OOPS is very, very, very important thing. Believe me, irrespective which programming language you are using in automation or to develop any application, if you are working in an object-oriented based programming language, OOPS concept should be very clear. And primarily for automation, if you are using Java, you are using, let's say, C# or Python, the OOPS concept has to be shown. Why? First of all, in interview, OOPS concept will be asked, definitely. And second, when you will be creating the framework from scratch, OOPS concept will be, implemented there. Without OOPS, you will not be able to create a robust framework. That's why OOPS will be very, we will talk about those in detail. So apart from constructor, creating object, creating class, we'll talk about inheritance, we'll talk about, overloading, overriding, interface, importance of inheritance in Selenium. Then we will talk about namespace. Now namespace is just like packages in Java. If you guys have an understanding of Java, so in Java we have package, in C# we have namespace. And then along with namespace, we'll talk about access modifiers, because access modifiers are related to namespace. So we'll talk about namespace concept, access modifier like private, public, those things. Exception handling, again, very important topic. You cannot ignore exception handling at all. Again, for practical uses, exception handling is required. Otherwise, your framework will fail, your test case will fail. And for clearing the interview, exception handling is at most important. So that's why we will be covering exception handling. Then we will have a separate class to understand the string and the object class both in C#. Then once we are done with the C# concept, also I have not included some of the things which I missed, I should have covered. We will talk about the list, we will talk about set, we will talk about dictionary, which is nothing but maps and those things, because without collection, you will not be able to work on Selenium or any other automation tool. So I, missed to include that, but I will update it and I will ask Rahul Arora to send this course content again, and I will include those topics as well. I think I have missed that. Anyway, then once we are done with C#, you guys are comfortable, and in between the C# classes, I will be giving assignments as well, which depends upon you. You guys want to do it or not, but you should attempt all the assignments, because until you are comfortable with C#, you'll not be able to understand Selenium, because Selenium is not a kind of plug and record and play kind of thing. You will have to do coding in Selenium. So that's why I'll be providing you the assignments. I will be providing you the interview questions in between the topic which I'll be covering. Let's say I'm covering inheritance. Okay, so I'll be giving you some interview questions as well, that what can be asked for inheritance, what can be asked in let's say collections and so on. So for each topic, if there are any important questions which can be asked, I'll be providing you those questions as well. Okay, so once we are done with C#, we'll start with Selenium, where we'll start with the basics, configuring Selenium, running the first program of Selenium, launching browsers and so on, browser and navigation using Selenium. Then we'll talk about locators, we will talk about web elements, we will talk how we can use different type of locators to find an element. We will dig in XPath and CSS very deeply. If you want to be comfortable with Selenium, XPath and CSS locator should be very, very clear to everyone. So we are going to talk about XPath and CSS in detail. We will conquer CSS and XPath. So don't worry about that. It's very easy thing. It's not that rocket science. It's just that your confidence, most of the students lack confidence because of lack in the practice. So the more you practice, the more you confident get. And XPath and CSS is very important for interview, for practical users. Then we will talk about, no, we are not going to, covering MVC. We will not use MVC. We will use NUnit. Okay. So after completing the locators, we'll talk about handling tables, checkbox, radio buttons, alerts. Then very important thing, WebDriver waits, alert handling, window handling, and the action classes, because these are very important. And once we are done with the basics of Selenium, and you are able to handle all the different type of elements, we will start with NUnit. Now what is NUnit? NUnit is a testing framework provided in C#. Okay, like in Java you have testng, you have JUnit. In C# we are going to use NUnit. Okay, like in Python you have robot framework, and there are a few other testing framework available in Python. In C# we have NUnit, and the most famous testing framework nowadays for C# is NUnit. So we are going to use that. So we'll talk about the NUnit, its installation, different type of annotation, parallel executions, assertions, handling test data, passing parameters, and so on. Okay. Yeah. So once we are comfortable with NUnit, then we will begin with the framework setup. The most important thing in the whole course is the framework setup. Okay. And that will be the very detailed topic. So we will start with data-driven framework, where we will understand the need of framework designing, bottom approach to develop any framework. We'll talk about test environment configuration, file setup, data file setup, base class setup, test case execution, and we'll talk about util function, parameterization, test log setups, and page object model, of course, because that is most important thing. Page object model is very important. So we will be creating page object model framework as well over the top of data driven. So we'll talk about building page objects, page actions, test case creation using page object model. Of course, we are going to, integrate reporting as well. So I will be covering extent report, assertions, and all those things. And once we are done with data driven along with page object model, we will cover spec flow as well. So it's mentioned here in, spec flow, and so we will have 2 to 3 classes for spec flow. Okay, but spec flow I will be covering at the end. Before that, I will be, creating the data driven and page object model based framework. Why? Because once your framework designing, concepts are clear, you are comfortable with, framework designing, spec flow we will integrate with the same existing framework. So that will not be a complex thing. The main focus should be on understanding the data driven and page object model, and then we will cover the spec flow. Fine. Any questions in that? Yeah, grouping, test run, everything will be covered. Don't worry. Okay, grouping, test runner, parallel execution, priority setup, everything will be covered. So whatever most of the annotation, most of the feature that NUnit provides us, we will be doing that. Database connection, I'm not sure I'm going to cover that or not, because it will, increase the length of the course. Azure connection, no, those things I will not cover. Database connection or Azure Connect will not be going to, do in this course. Okay. Any other question, guys? Fine. Now, once you are done and we have covered the content as well, I will talk about why Selenium and why Selenium with C#. These are 2 most important things that you should understand clearly. Until the goal is clear, you will not be able to find your, you will be able to complete your journey. So the goal should be clear. Why we are, why we are, why you guys have joined this course. Why we require Selenium with C#. Okay. So why Selenium? Everybody knows that if you are working, if you are saying I'm an automation SDET, it means you must know Selenium. Okay, because till now most of the application that we develop are web-based application, and Selenium is the most famous and widely used, open source UI automation tool. So learning Selenium is mandatory for all the QAs who want to convert themselves into automation. Point number 1. Now, why Selenium with C#? Okay, because nowadays, as we all know, and I'll show you that which are the different programming languages supported by Selenium. So Selenium have multiple language binding, like Selenium has Java binding, Selenium has Python, Ruby, C#, and so on. Okay, most of the guys learn Selenium Java. But why we need to learn Selenium with C#? Point number 1, there is a huge demand in the market for an SDET who has experience in Selenium with C#. There is a huge demand. Okay, but the number of resources are very less. Okay, there are very few resources available in the market who have experience of Selenium with C#. Most of the guys who are available in the market have Selenium Java knowledge, believe me. And if you have experience in Selenium with C#, you will be getting job very soon, and you will get good, packages as well. And I will tell you one more thing. I am taking interviews in my different company for last 2-3 years. Believe me, there are very, very, huge demand of good resources in the market. If anybody says there is no demand in the market, it's completely false. To get one good guy, we are taking interviews for 2 months to get one good guy who has good experience of automation, who has good command in any of the programming language. Believe me, there is a huge demand, but the supply is very less. So if you know any programming language with Selenium, that's good. But C# is important because the demand is there and the number of resources are very less. Okay, so better is to go in a stream which has less crowd. Okay, Selenium Java already has huge number of resources, but Selenium C# is very less. So that's why if you know Selenium with C#, you will get good job, you will get good payment, good packages. Okay, that's why understanding Selenium with C# is important. Okay, so I hope the goal is clear. The goal should be clear. I want to learn Selenium, I want to learn one programming language, that's it. It can be Java, it can be C#, but here we are going to learn C#. Now understand one more thing, guys. Whatever I have, earned it with all my experience. I started with my, very famous, service-based company with big MNC. I started as a manual QA. I did manual, testing for 3.5 years, and I started learning Selenium. I was one of the students of Rahul. I learned Selenium in way to automation itself, but I learned only Selenium Java here, and from there I started building myself. Once I am done with Selenium Java, I worked on Rest Assured. I worked on Selenium with C#. I worked upon Postman. I worked upon Golang as well. Nowadays I am working with TypeScript for WebDriver. So once you are comfortable with any of the programming language, be it Java, be it Python, be it C#, once your concepts are clear, learning another language is just a syntax learning. That's it. Because the fundamental thing will remain the same. It's just that your mind should direct you what is the next step that you need to do. Okay, so focus. So till now I will be covering C#. Your focus only should be to learn C#. That's it. Forget about Selenium. Selenium is a secondary thing. First you should get comfortable with C#. That's it. Your only motive right now till I cover C# should be that I am here to learn C#. That's it. Once you are comfortable with C#, Selenium is a very easy thing, because coding is going to be on C# only. It's just that you'll have to use some classes, some interfaces of Selenium binding, some methods, and that's it. Fine. Do you guys agree with my words?
Yeah.
Yeah. And one more thing. Right now I'm in Bangalore. Okay. There is a huge demand in the market. Bangalore, NCR, they have huge demand. And the best part of being a QA and the best part of being an SDET is you will be fit in any project. That's the best thing about any SDET people, software automation testing guy. Because if you are a Java developer, you will be fit in only a project which is in Java. If you are Python resource, you will be working only in a project which is in Python. But if you are an automation engineer, you can work in any project, be it developed in Node.js, TypeScript, Python, C#, does not matter. That's the best part of being a QA automation engineer. So focus on investing yourself, invest in yourself, utilize your time, learn Selenium with C#. Believe me, at the end of the course, you'll be very comfortable, very confident. And once you are confident with one programming language, then next thing you will learn on your own. Fine. So just be in touch with me, follow my instruction, and you will learn everything. Don't worry about that. Fine. So lots of gyan. So we'll move to the next thing. So again, what is Selenium? So this is the website for Selenium. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do few things. So today I will tell you how to install Visual Studio. Okay, this is nothing but an IDE. Okay, like for Java you have Eclipse. In C#, the most famous and the widely used IDE is Visual Studio provided by Microsoft. Then I will show you how to install Selenium. I will show you how to write one basic Selenium code. That's it. Not much. Yeah, rider as well, right? Fine. So Selenium, this is the official website of Selenium. Earlier it was Selenium HQ. Now this is selenium.dev. They have changed the domain of their website. That's fine. So what is Selenium? It's nothing but Selenium automates browser. That's it. Very simple definition. Okay. So Selenium has three different components. One is Selenium Webdriver, Selenium IDE, and Selenium Grid. Okay. So here we will learn Selenium Webdriver. Selenium Grid is mostly used to scale your app, test cases for cross browser and cross platform testing. So if time permits, I will try to go Selenium Grid as well. We are not going to use Selenium IDE anyway. Okay, that's not used nowadays. So the most important component of Selenium is Selenium WebDriver. So we'll talk about Selenium WebDriver in the course. If we go to one more thing, I will try to show you guys. Just a minute. If you go to downloads, so just see the Selenium clients and WebDriver language bindings. So Selenium WebDriver is available with C#, Ruby, Java, Python, JavaScript. Okay, so any of them you can use. So for this course, we are going to use the C# binding of Selenium. How to install it, how to download it, I'll show you today only. Don't worry. One more thing I will show you, the platform supported by Selenium. So the different browsers supported by Selenium is Firefox, IE, Safari, Opera, Chrome, and Edge. All these browsers are supported by Selenium, which means if you're using Selenium, you can perform cross-browser testing as well, which we'll try to cover up in the course. Okay. And the operating system. So Selenium is available or supports all the three important operating system, which is Windows, Mac, and Linux. So that's about the type of browser and operating system supported by Selenium, the different language supported by Selenium, and how can you download it. We'll first try to install the Visual Studio. I'll show you how to install the Visual Studio, and then we'll come to installing Selenium. Okay. So what you need to do, just go to Google. Just a minute. My laptop is very slow, so just bear with me. Okay. So go to Google and just type, Visual Studio Community. That's it. Okay. You'll have to install community version, which is a free version, free edition. Don't go for enterprise edition, because after 1 month you will be asked to purchase the license. So we don't need that. Community edition is fine. So just search for Visual Studio Community. You will get through this URL. Just click on this. Okay, and you can download Visual Studio from here. Now, if you see, it says a fully featured extensible free IDE for creating modern application for Android, iOS, Windows, as well as web application and cloud services. It means that this is completely fully feature loaded. Although it's a community version, it has all the feature required, whatever is required for us for understanding the Selenium. It's free, so there is no worry to get the license, all of those things. It's completely free. Okay. Now, one thing I want to make clear: Visual Studio for Windows and Visual Studio for Mac are created using different programming language. So the look and feel for Visual Studio Windows and Mac are different. Okay. Okay. So if you have Windows, the look and feel will be different. If you have Mac, the look and feel will be different. So don't worry about that. Okay. Just come to this website, click on download Visual Studio. That's it. Okay. So click on this, and what will happen? An installer will get downloaded to your system. It will take some time, and the installer will get downloaded to your system. You can see an exe file is downloaded. Fine. Now you will get something like this: Visual Studio setup exe. Now it is a huge application. As I've said, the Microsoft Visual Studio is a huge, heavy IDE. So what you need to do, because I have already installed, because I cannot install Visual Studio in the class because it will take some time. Easily it will take half an hour at least. So that's why I have pre-installed it. But I'll tell you what to do. Just like a normal software, just click on next, next, next. Okay. And at one place, you will be asked to select what kind of packages you want to install. So just, I will ping in the chat, just select console and class based application. Okay, just select these things. Or I will try to provide a video as well. I will try to create a video for installation part, and I will try to share those videos as well. But you can, Google it. It's very simple. Just click on this exe file, click on next, 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 and the Visual Studio will be installed on your system. It will take some time because it's a heavy application. Fine. Now, once Visual Studio will be installed, automatically the .NET Framework will be installing. Automatically it will get installed. Now, what is .NET Framework? You all know that .NET is the main framework. .NET Framework supports multiple, languages like VB Script, C#. All are part of .NET Framework itself. Okay. All these VB Script, C#, all these are part of .NET Framework. So when you install the Visual Studio, the .NET will be installed automatically on your system. Okay. And once it's installed, just open the Visual Studio on your system. Okay. I hope you guys will be able to, install it. Fine, guys. I'll try to provide you the code, but you can just Google it, or you can find the videos on YouTube itself. That's not a complex thing. Okay. Now, once you have installed Visual Studio on your system, launch it. So this is the Visual Studio. It will look like something like this. It might be possible that the Solution Explorer is somewhere in the right hand side. That's fine. It's not a big thing. Okay.
Is there any version?
This is the latest version, 2022.
2022. Okay.
So it will be 2022. So my version is also Visual Studio 2022.
Can we use some older version, because it get updated several times? Means if we use the current version.
Yeah, you can download the previous versions.
Because I was facing challenges in 2020.
Yeah, you can download the older version as well. I'll say Visual Studio. Come, just let me show you how you can get that. I'll say 2019 you can install. It should,
2019, I think. 19 is more stable, I think.
yeah, 2019 you can use, 2018 you can use. So you will get it somewhere. Compare editions. Just a minute. My system is hanged. Just a minute. Yeah, you can get from here. 2019. Okay. For Mac, compare edition. Where can I get 2019 for Windows? All downloads, older downloads. You can see older downloads link is here. So you can select, yeah, there you get 2019 and you can download it from here. Now, what kind of problem you will face? So primarily, I will tell you very honestly, if your RAM size is 4 GB, mostly will face that your system is getting very slow initially when you're installing or opening Visual Studio, because it's a heavy application. Or sometimes it asks for update and so on. So these are the things that you might face for 2022, because it's a latest version, new updates might be coming. So that's kind of that's not an issue. It's a version update that you might face very frequently initially because it's a latest version. But you can download the older version as well from here. Okay, I'll provide this link in the chat. Now, Once you are over here in Visual Studio, what we need to do, first of all, we'll try to create one new project. Okay, so I'll go to File, I'll click on New, and I'll click on New Project. Okay, so this kind of console you will see for the very first time also. When you are creating the very first project, that time also you will get this kind of console. Now you can see there are console app, ASP.NET, and so many class library kind of project. There are different type of templates available here, depending what kind of application you want to develop. For us as a QA automation guy, for us, either we will be creating console app or we will be creating sometimes class library. But for now, it is better just create a console app. That's fine. That's not a problem. Okay. Or you can create a class library as well. So for now, what I'll do, I'll just click on console app. That's it. And I will click on next. So here you are asking, you've been asked to provide a project name and the location where you want to store the code base. So my code will be stored in this ddive C# code location. My project name I'm going to give is, let's say, sharp day 1, something like this, anything you can provide. Okay, and I'll click on next. Now, which framework I'm using? I'm going to use the latest long supported version of .NET. I'm going to use .NET 6.0. Like in Java, you have, I think Java 15 is the latest version, right? Is the latest Java version. Similarly, in .NET, the latest version is 6.0. So you can use this and click on create. So it will take some time and it will create a new project for us. So just wait for that. So it's creating a project, guys. Okay. So here it is. One new project has been created and just a minute. Just a minute, guys. My system is getting hang. So these kind of things you will see with Visual Studio. Although my system is very slow. Fine. Just a minute, guys. Anyway, so this is the why it is coming in the full screen. Just a minute. Okay. I will try to move this. Just for today, you'll have to bear with me, guys. I'll sort out this next class. Anyway, that's fine. Now, this is a very simple folder structure that you get, a project structure that you see here. So the solution name is C# day 1, the project name is C# day 1, and then you see just a minute. Yeah. Now coming to Solution Explorer. Now this Solution Explorer should be it contains the folder structure, very simple folder structure. So whenever you will be creating a console based project, automatically you will see these things. One will be the dependencies, and another thing will be automatic, one program will be created automatically there with the name program.cs. Always you will see, whenever you will be creating a console based project in Visual Studio, you will see two things inside your project. One will be the dependencies and one will be a CS. CS is a file extension. Like in Java, we create a Java file with extension .java. In Java, we write our code in .java file. Similarly, in C#, we write our code in .cs file extension. Okay, a file which has .cs will contain our C# code. Okay, so it will automatically be there. If I open this, there is nothing much here. There is a console.write line provided here. Now this is a dummy template provided to you. Okay, so whenever you will be creating a console based project, you will be getting a program.cs, a dummy project already, a dummy program file there, which will have this line always. This is for 2022, or you can say .NET Framework 6.0. For .NET Framework 4.0 or 4 point something, you will see a different kind of template. That's fine. Okay, it's not that important for us for now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this first of all. And I'm going to remove this. I don't need this because I don't want to confuse you guys. What is this, because we all know that C# is an object-oriented programming language, but there is no class and there is nothing like namespace here. So what exactly is this? We'll talk about this template in the next class because I don't want to cover these things today. So what I'll do, I'll just remove or delete this program.cs and I'm going to create a new class file. So first I'll delete it. Okay. Now I will right click on my C# day one. This is my project. I will right click here and I will add. So I will go to add and I will say new item. Okay, it's loading the templates. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create or add a class. Okay, and what will be the name of my class? I'll say hello world.cs and I will click on add. Okay, shall I repeat it again, guys? I'll show you again how to.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So this is your solution. Solution can have multiple projects. Like in your company, one project can have multiple sub projects. Similarly, one solution can have different projects. For us right now, the project that we have is C# day one. This is our project. The bold in text that you see here, C# day one. This is our project. So I'll right click on my project name. I'll go to add and you will see add new item. So I'm going to click on this new item. Now, as soon as you click on new item, it will take some time and automatically it will, show you some, templates. What kind of thing you want to add? Do you want to add a class? You want to add an interface? You want to add a data set, which is for data, based connection and so on. Different, you want to add an XML file. You want to add a TypeScript based file. That's multiple templates are provided to you. For us right now, we are interested in creating a new class. Which kind of class? C# class. So I'll click on class. Here you will see name. Automatically class1.cs is getting populated. I will update it and I will say hello world. This will be the name of my class, hello world.cs. And I will click on add. So it will create the class for us. Just wait for it. So you can see a class has been created. Now, always remember that in C# in Visual Studio, whenever you will be creating a new class, the folders, the class structure will be something like this. Forget about these initial 5 lines. I will talk about it later. First of all, have the focus in this keyword namespace. Namespace is nothing but packages. Like in Java, we have package. Okay. So if you have any understanding of, let's say Java, It's been said that in Java, the first thing that you should create is a package. Similarly, in C#, forget about Java. Let's say you don't know anything about Java. In C#, because right now we are not dealing with Selenium, we are creating a C# class. So in C# in Visual Studio, whenever you'll be creating a C# class, you will always see such type of structure of the class. There will be a namespace. Namespace is nothing but that this class is created within this namespace. Namespace, what is namespace? For now, just understand namespace is nothing but a kind of folder to store similar type of files. Like in your system, you create folders, right? To keep similar type of files. You create, let's say movie folder, name a folder with name. Movie, you create a folder with name. Let's say music, you sometimes create a folder with name, let's say important files and so on. Why do we create different type of folders in our system? To store, same type of files in a structured way. Similarly, whenever you are creating program, be in Java and C# in Python, you do create folders, you do create packages. Here in C# we call them as namespace. Okay, so namespace will contain the class. So whatever will be the name of your class, the same name will be provided to namespace always. Now, can we change it? Can we not change it? It's a separate thing. We'll discuss it later in C# classes. For now, let it be. So, sorry, what I was saying, the name of your namespace will always be the project name. Sorry, my bad. The name of the namespace will always be the name of the project. Now, C# day one namespace contains one class having name hello world. It's a class and it's internal. Now, what is internal? Internal is a access modifier. Access modifiers concepts are there in all the object-oriented programming language. Like in Java, we have private, protected, default, and public. Similarly, in C# also we have multiple access modifier like public, private, internal, and so on. Now, what is internal? Internal, at a high level, I'll tell you briefly. Access modifier are used to restrict the access of a particular file, like which all files can access this file. So for that, to restrict it, to provide proper encapsulation, we have access modifier in all the object-oriented programming language. In C# also, we have different access modifier. Whenever you will be creating a class, by default, internal will be used. But for now, always keep it as public. Now, don't ask why, because I'm not going to cover it for now, because it will take some time to understand all those things. Before understanding why I have put here public, we'll have to understand all the things related to access modifier. So instead of going into the detail of that, let us assume that whenever we'll be creating the class, we'll change the internal to public, so that we can access it publicly anyway. Fine. Any questions till now, please ask. And if I'm going very fast, please stop me. It's your, you should understand whatever I'm going through. So if my speed is very fast, please stop me in between. Okay. Any question? Okay, fine. Now, this is an empty class. Now, why we use internal class? Why internal? Why internal? Okay. Internal is something that only within this namespace, only within this namespace, you can use this class. If you create any .cs file, let's say I'm creating one more CS file, C# file, I'll not be able to use this, or I will not be able to access this hello world in the another C# file. If I make it public, I will be able to use or access this hello world in any other class. That's the purpose of public or internal at a high level. Internal restricts the access of the particular class. Public may make it public to all the existing classes in that particular project. Got it?
So you mean the internal is nothing but private?
You can understand, but we have private as well in C#. Okay. It's more restricted, more safe. Understood? Public means it's, not that restricted. It's open for everyone. It's available. Every other file can access that particular file. But
Sorry to disturb you here. So actually, whatever I have seen is I haven't seen like by default it is open with class name, right? For example, class program. First time we are opening. So in case namespace is fine, right? After that we have class. Then class is your class name, right? Hello world you have
yeah,
created.
yeah.
So I haven't seen this like we define public or private with class.
Which version of
I'm using 2019, I guess.
that's why updated to a 22 because many of things have been updated.
Even I have that one as well. Anyway, that's fine. That is not a.
Try to create it. You will see this.
Yeah. Saw that. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mrityunjay is asking, so we need to define public with class. For now, add it. It's good to have it. There is a purpose behind that. But for now, until we go through the access modifier concept in detail, whenever we'll be creating a class, we'll make it public. Now, once we are done with access modifier class, then you will understand the importance of different access modifier. And when we will be creating the framework, there we will use proper access modifiers as per the actual project work that we perform in professional projects. Is that clear? Great. So now this class is empty. There is nothing. So what do we need to do? Let's say I want to execute this class. I want to do something with this class. Okay. So initially what I'm going to do, I'm going to just print one message on the console. Now, in order to print anything in C#, we have console.writeLine. But before that, in order to execute this class, we need to have main function in this. Okay, just like Java, in C# also, if you want to execute it, you should have a main function. Main function is the beginning point of any C# application. The triggering point from where the execution begins is nothing but main function or main method, whatever you say. So you need a main function here as well in C# as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a main function here. Okay. So the syntax for that is static public, or you can say public static, it's fine. But in C# we use like static public. Void is nothing but the return type of this main method, main, and then I'll say string array arguments and the curly braces. Okay, so this is going to be our execution, means our execution will start from the main method. Because let's say whenever you are running a program, okay, how the JIT or how the compiler will understand from where to compile the program or from where to execute the program. Okay, you have, let's say 100 line of codes, and C# we are not doing scripting. We are not using scripting language just like shell script. We are using an object-oriented programming language. So from where the execution start, we'll have to define it. So the execution in C# starts from the main function. Okay, so that's why we need a main function, main method to be created so that we can start the execution. Clear? So this is the syntax, the template which you should use. Now you might be asking that what is this static, what is this public, what is this void, why we need this string array argument. That's fine. This is a valid question, but for now we are not going to entertain this. Like we are not going to focus more on these things, because we'll have to understand each and every part of the syntax. We are going to understand each and everything of the syntax. We are going to learn what is static, what is the importance of static, what happens when we use static keyword, what happens when we use public, why we use void. For now, for few days, for few initial class, just mug it. Just understand that whenever you are creating a class, inside the class you should create a main function, and the syntax of that main function is this is only, that's it. For few days. Now once we will cover each and every important individual keyword of these things, you will understand everything, the purpose, the reason, the motive behind each and every of these things. Clear? But for few days, you'll have to just remember it. Okay, so I have the main function. Now what I'll do, I'll print something onto the console, and this will be the first program that we are going to execute in this course. There is a question asking namespace name always should match class name. No. Here the namespace is matching to the project name. Okay. Now can we have any name to the namespace? Yes, we can have, but we will see it when we will cover the namespace in detail in the coming classes. Okay. Just like, you know, any other programming language, the package name or the namespace can be as per you, but we'll see these things in the coming classes. There are some rules and regulations. We'll have to understand those things first. Okay. Fine. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'll print something. So how we print anything in C# is very simple. Just say console. Okay. Console, if you see, is a class. Just see this information coming here. Console is a class available in, just a minute. Console is a class available in which namespace? System namespace. What is system? System is a namespace in C#. Okay, it contains multiple classes, multiple predefined classes, multiple predefined interfaces. Okay, so if you see here before the namespace, you can see there are multiple usings here, using system.collection.generate, using system.link, which is used for database connection, using system.text, and so on. What is this using? Using is nothing but import statement in Java. If I compare it with Java, it's nothing but import statement. Now understand it. Why do we use any programming language? Can't we create our own programming language and then start the development of any application? Can't we do that? Why do we use any available programming language to develop any application? Why don't we create our own programming language every time? Can anyone tell me? Anyone? Like, let's say you, in your company, you want to develop a web, or you want to create an iOS application or Android application. We'll be using, let's say for web, we'll be using Java, using Python, we'll be using Node.js.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically we have predefined libraries provided by Microsoft here, right? So if we to print anything, right? If we sit and if I want to print something, so there is predefined library provided by Microsoft. I will use that by using system, right? If I will sit and start writing by my own, it will take years.
Yes, it will take years. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's the reason we are using predefined libraries provided by Java or Microsoft.
Exactly.
And basically in .NET we have so many Nuget packages. That is nothing but I guess that is a library only.
Exactly. So we use some programming language, an existing programming language, to develop any application. Now, why do we use any existing programming language? Because the programming language like Java, Python, C#, Ruby, Golang, these programming languages provide us huge, big libraries. Those libraries contains number of classes, number of interfaces, number of predefined functions to easy our developments. That makes our development easy. It speed up our development. Otherwise, if we don't have any existing programming language, we'll have to create our own things. We'll have to, just to understand one thing, like in C#, if you want to print anything onto the console, you just have to say console.writeLine, and the braces and the double quotes, you can, let's say, hello world. Now, if you run this program, this message will be printed on the console. That's fine. But why we are able to use it? From where this write line is coming, from where this console is coming, all this, like write line is a function which is available in the console class. Console class is available in system namespace. Now from where they are coming? All these namespace, classes, functions are provided us in the .NET framework. We are just reusing. We are just using the existing libraries. Okay. Now, I hope this is clear. Console is not a class which is created by me. WriteLine is not a function which is created by me. I have not created system function namespace. I have created this hello world class. But inside this hello world class, which is user defined, I am using a predefined function. I am using a predefined class. I am using a predefined WriteLine function. Now, how am I able to use it? Because I have the libraries of .NET Framework available in my system. When I install Visual Studio, the whole .NET Framework came and installed in my system. With that .NET Framework, huge number of classes available in that .NET, got installed in my system, and I'm able to use it. Understood? But let's say I am removing all these using statement. Let's say I'm removing, just a minute. Let's say I remove all the using statement. Now, when I will try to run this program, the compiler will give me an error. Compiler does not understand what is WriteLine. Compiler will get confused. Oh, what is this WriteLine? From where it is come? What is console? From where it is come? So to make the compiler understand that where exactly this console exists, in which namespace, in which class this WriteLine exists, we use this using statement. Using statement is nothing but we are making the compiler understand that, look compiler, which compiler we'll be using? C# compiler, okay, which is available in .NET, which will get downloaded to your system. I'll show you in the coming classes where you can find the compiler and so on. Fine. So why we are using this statement? Just to make sure that the compiler understand that I'm talking about the console class which is available in system namespace. Understood? So using statement is mandatory. Remember this thing. Whenever you are using any predefined class in your code, whenever you are using a predefined function, a predefined interface in your code, you should write the namespace in which that class belongs to. You should write the namespace using the using statement in which that interface available. Is that clear? So for now, just to understand this line of code, I am using the console.WriteLine. This WriteLine is a function available in the console class, and console is a class available in system namespace. But because you are using a predefined class, you will have to write this statement. This is mandatory. Clear? For now, although we are going to use or we are going to understand namespace in detail, don't worry about that. But for now, don't do anything. Just let it be right there. Clear? Guys?
Yeah, just a question, like it's maybe the basic kind of thing. So just try to understand the function, methods, interface, all are the same or?
No, everything is different.
Okay, so here this console.WriteLine is the function, right?
Function or method, both are same thing. It's used to perform the smallest action in your class. Okay, remember one thing, namespace will contain class or it will contain interface. Okay, and within this class or interface, you will have variables, you will create variables, you will create constructors, you will create functions, and so on.
So in other terms, if I say namespace is nothing but hierarchical structure, right? Just to let us know like what where our class files or app whatever the files we have created.
Exactly.
Basically, namespace is a parent node. Under that, we have child nodes, that is class or interface. It may be
Here,
in.
yes. Look, the basic pillar of any object-oriented programming language is class. Class is the main thing. But in a project, let's say you are creating YouTube application. Okay, complete YouTube application you are creating. It's a huge application. If you want to create an application like YouTube, you'll have to create n number of classes, n number of interfaces. But then how will you store them? It should be in a proper structured way, so that when you are trying to find anything, let's say I want to find a particular class, I should know where that class exists. Okay, namespace are nothing but a structured way of storing, keeping, or grouping a particular kind of files. That's it. Understood?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Fine. So I'm going to come back to this. Okay, so I have created this. I'll say I'm going to print hello world. First program. I'll save it. Again, semi-mandatory in C# as well. So whenever you are ending any programming line of code is end, just add a semicolon. And then I'm going to run it. So how we are going to run it? There is a green button available. Just click on this. Okay, run it. It will take some time initially because this is a first program in this project. It will take a time. A console window will get open and you will see the output there. Okay. Just wait. It will take some time initially. The console is open. For the very first time, it will certainly take in some time. So you can see hello world got executed. Can you see this? Hello world as statement got printed. Okay. So basically what happened, this C# day1.exe got executed. What is this exe? I'll talk about this in the next class. Okay. Like in C#, like in Java, we have .java file. When we compile it, you get .class file. Okay. Now, similarly in C#, when C# files, C# classes will be compiled, either you will get DLL or you will get exe. Now, when do you get exe? When do you get DLL? It's a separate thing. We'll cover this in the coming class. For now, just ignore it. Just understand one thing, that your program got executed, hello world got printed, and that is. If you want to close this debug console, just press any key and it will be closed. If I change my message, I'll say, you are at this learn Selenium. Okay, and I will run it again, run it again. Okay, so you can see this time it did not take that much of time and this message is printed. Fine. This is how you can initially begin with your installation of Visual Studio, creating your first file, creating your first class, creating your main function, and so on. Okay. Any question till now?
I have one. Sorry, I'm asking too much.
Yeah, no
because I am doing all these things. So, but I want to learn C# basics. That's the reason I'm asking.
Please ask. Please ask.
Yeah. So basically, question here is under namespace we have class. So what, as you said, there is no difference between function and method. Is that correct, right?
Yeah, functions and methods are same. Like in C, we'll call it as function. In Java, you call it as method. That's fine.
Okay, because why I'm relating it, for example, I have to, I'm just giving an example, maybe. So, for example, I have, there is a car, right? So there are so many functions. Car is a class, and within that class, we have so many functions, right?
Right.
Like wheels and all those things. And
Right.
we will, so all these functions, we can say like this is function or these are methods, right?
Same thing. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into detail of C# today, although we will be starting with C# in the next class. What I'm going to do, I'll be installing Selenium right now, just to, to make you guys feel a bit, happy. We'll try to, launch a browser. We'll try to go to a particular URL, and we'll try to do some stuff on the Selenium part today also. Okay. So how you can install Selenium in Visual Studio or in C#? That's very simple.
Rahul,
Yeah.
I'm following you, and I can't print that on the console. I can't see any error as well.
What issue are you getting?
That's what I'm saying. No issue. I just it's not printing. Just hello world. I'm getting the window, the command window, but not
Which
displaying.
version of Visual Studio you are using?
2022.
Just a minute. Okay, we'll discuss it at the end. Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll try to help you in the end.
Thank you.
Anand, I'm using 2022, the latest Visual Studio. Okay. So how we are going to install Selenium is very simple. Go to Solution Explorer. Now you can see this dependency is available here. If we expand it, you see the .NET dependencies are available automatically here. The system and different libraries are available. These are all the predefined libraries available automatically to you. But Selenium is not a .NET provided library, isn't it? Selenium is a third-party open source library. .NET does not have it automatically. You will have to add that dependency to your project explicitly. Okay, you will have to add the Selenium to your project explicitly, the Selenium C# binding to your project explicitly. Okay, so how we can do that is very simple. Just right click on these dependencies. Okay, I'll show you. This is very important. Just be very, attentive here. Right click on dependencies. Go to this manage Nuget packages. What is Nuget packages? Nuget packages, if you have little bit idea of Java, it's similar to Maven. Like if you're working on Java based application, Maven provides you the dependencies there. You can go to maven.org and you can find dependencies of all the Java based libraries. Similarly, if you want to find any C# based library, you will have to use Nuget. There are other, package manager also available, but Nuget is the, best and most used package manager in C#. Okay, Maven is a build tool. It's not completely Nuget is a build tool, but kind of, which provides you the different packages of different C# based libraries. Okay. So again, I'll repeat this. Right click on dependencies, click on manage Nuget packages. Okay. It will open a window to you. Now you can see 3 tabs here: browse, installed, and update. Till now, using Nuget, I have not installed any library. Whatever dependencies I have right now in my Solution Explorer is the by default .NET provided libraries. That's it, the C# libraries. So using Nuget, I have not installed anything. So I am not able to see anything on installed. I don't have anything on updates, because if I don't have installed anything, how can I update it? So what you'll have to do, you'll have to click on browse. Okay, click on browse and type here Selenium. Okay, and press enter. It will take some time and it will search. Okay, so search for Selenium Webdriver, and you see Selenium Webdriver .NET binding available for you. You can see Selenium.Webdriver by Selenium. It's the latest version, which is Selenium 4.1.0. Selenium 4.1 is the latest Selenium version. It's a .NET binding for the Selenium Webdriver API. So just click on this. So in the right hand side, you will see who has done it. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is the latest stable version of Selenium Webdriver. Just click on install. And it will take some time to get it installed. Okay, so just wait for it. Okay, it's asking something, just click on OK. Okay, it will take some time to install it. Okay, now if you go to installed, clear it, you can see in the installed tab, now you see Selenium Webdriver available, added to your Nuget install tab. Fine. Clear? Somebody is asking, can we install TestNG as well with .NET and Nuget? No, TestNG is a Java-based library. Okay, TestNG is a Java-based library. TestNG does not have any C# binding. Okay, fine. So we have the Selenium WebDriver now installed. And if you go to your Selenium,
Hi, sorry for interrupt. Just going to this next step. So I am not asking for this particular scenario. Like if I want to install few packages from the Nuget, so many times it's irritate me like the version is not correlate with my Visual Studio or something else. So we need to follow any thumb rule for the installing any Nuget packages. I am not talking about the WebDriver, like something else packages which in the project, like spec or something else. We need to follow the versioning.
Understood your question. So definitely you'll have to be careful of the versions. Like Selenium WebDriver 4.1.0 supports, I think, more, after 4.54, you will be able to, like, if your .NET version is 4, that is also fine. So definitely there are some things that you'll have to take care. Like if the Selenium WebDriver binding and the .NET Framework version you are using are not compatible, you will see the errors. You will not be able to install it.
And additionally, I'm adding here. So, we are getting frequently updates for Chrome drivers and other browsers, right?
So we are not going to use we are not going to download the Chrome driver.exe or Firefox driver.exe file.
No,
We'll be using WebDriver manager values.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a library provided, open source library provided by MIT, which is WebDriver manager. So we'll be using WebDriver. I'll take the example. Okay.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Because, let's say your system browser is updated and your Chrome driver is, older version, again, you will see the errors. So instead of downloading it again and again, it's better to use WebDriver manager. Okay. We'll talk about that in few minutes. Fine. So again, if you come now to dependencies, you can see there is a package and Selenium WebDriver is now added to your dependencies. Fine.
So the .NET version which we installed is 6.2 and the Selenium WebDriver supports 4.1. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So earlier this packages was not there. Once we added this WebDriver using Nuget, now this is coming to your dependencies, which means now you can use Selenium. Okay. So one more thing. Selenium is an automation tool to automate your browser, but it does support multiple browsers, isn't it? It does support multiple browsers. It supports Firefox, it supports Internet Explorer, Safari, Opera, Chrome, and Edge. And all these browsers are different. Okay, their mechanism is different. Their way of working is different. And that's why when you use any browser, you see a difference in their speed, isn't it? Yeah, you will definitely see that.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Yeah, because their mechanism, their development, way of development and everything is different. Like Internet Explorer is the slowest among all because it's more, secured. It executes JavaScript code for all the action that you perform in your browser. Okay, but we are not going to detail of these different browsers. What I'm trying to say, Selenium will be able to handle any browser if you have the exe file of that particular browser. Let's say you want to run your test cases on Chrome. So you need the Chrome driver available in your system. If you don't have Chrome driver available in your system, you will not be able to run the test cases on Chrome. If you don't have Firefox driver, if you don't have, Safari driver available in your system, you'll not be able to launch it, the browser. So you need the driver available, and these drivers are provided by different, like Firefox has provided their driver, Chrome has provided their driver to Selenium, so that Selenium will be able to use to automate different type of browsers. But we are not going to download the driver explicitly for individual browsers. Instead, again, we will be using a third-party library, a third-party C# binding, just like Selenium, which will help us to handle the browser configuration without worrying about the version of the browser available in my system and the version of the Selenium I'm using. That will be handled by the WebDriver manager. Otherwise, initially when this WebDriver manager was not available in the market, believe me, it was very hectic to manage the browser compatibility with the Selenium version you are using. It was very tough. Frequently, we used to get the error that your browser is not supported. The browser version is not supported by this particular version of Selenium you are using. So that is solved with the help of WebDriver manager. So coming back to our project, as we have installed the Selenium WebDriver in our project, I will add one more library to my project. So I'll again go to Nuget. How we can go there? Close this Nuget. Again, I'll go to Solution Explorer. I'll write dependencies. I will say manage Nuget packages. Click on browser and I will search for WebDriver manager and click enter. So you can see WebDriver manager, this you can see there. It says automatic Selenium WebDriver binaries management for .NET. So I'll click on this and I will install. Okay, so I will add this particular thing as well. So these two libraries, these two C# binding you will have to add for sure. Otherwise, you will not be able to run the Selenium code. So you can see these two libraries, these two .NET bindings are available in my project now. So I'll close this. Now I don't need anything else. I'll go to my class. So very first thing I'm going to write today. What I'm going to do is I will launch Chrome browser. This is the first thing I will do. Then I will navigate to facebook.com. We'll see how we can do that through Selenium. We'll try to enter username and password. And I will try to click on the login button. These things I will do, and at last I will try to close the browser automatically. Fine. These things I'm going to do. Now, it might be possible that few of you folks don't have any understanding of Selenium. You guys might be possible that few of you have never worked on Selenium. It's possible. So that's fine. For few days, you'll have to remember few statements, few line of code. You'll have to mug it. You cannot ignore that. So how we can launch a Chrome browser, how we can navigate to facebook.com, that is I'm going to tell you. Now, if you want to launch browser, let's say I want to launch a Chrome browser. To handle Chrome browser in Selenium WebDriver, we have a Chrome driver class available in Selenium. So in order to launch a Chrome browser, you'll have to create object of Chrome driver class. Similarly, let's say you want to launch a Firefox browser, you'll have to create object of Chrome driver class. But forget about Firefox for now. I'm going to launch Chrome browser. How we can do that? It's very simple. Very simple. Focus here, guys. So I'm going to create an object of Chrome driver. How we can do that? Very simple. I'll say Chrome driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay. Now I'm getting error. Why I'm getting error? This is compile time error, syntax error. My compiler, the C# compiler is not able to understand. Okay, you are talking about some class. You want to create object. How do we create object? Using new keyword. Again, don't worry. We'll talk about this in detail. For now, just bear with me.
Because we haven't downloaded the Chrome driver. We have downloaded the WebDriver manager.
No. Chrome driver binary is required at runtime, not at the compile time. Whether
Asking him to import the package.
yeah, okay, the compiler is saying, okay, fine, you are trying to create object of Chrome driver, but where is Chrome driver? I don't know where is Chrome driver. The C# compiler is confused. Which Chrome driver class you are talking about? In which namespace this Chrome driver class exists? Please tell me.
Namespace we also
Yeah.
No, need to add library for this, right? So if we highlight on a red one, it will navigate us to add library.
So you'll have to import the namespace in which, or you'll have to import the package in which this Chrome driver exists. So just mouse over it. Okay, and it's showing show potential fixes, click on it. So it's saying, suggesting that using openqa.selenium.chrome. So I'll click on this. So you can see now this Chrome namespace is imported in my CS file. Can you see this? Can you see this? Is it nothing but namespace? If I would have been using Java right now, it would have been something like import package Chrome. So it's nothing but namespace. So this Chrome driver class is available within this Chrome namespace. This Chrome namespace is available in the Selenium binding which we have installed through Nuget. Is that clear? Fine. Yeah. But before running this code, before you create object of Chrome driver or Safari driver or Firefox driver, you will have to take care about the driver binary, Chrome driver binary, because we are creating object of Chrome driver. We'll have to take care of the Chrome driver binary, whether we have the Chrome driver binary available. I have not installed it, and I've said you I'm not going to download it. Okay. But we have the WebDriver manager. We have installed WebDriver manager. So I'm going to set up the Chrome using WebDriver manager. How we can do that? Very simple. Before this line of code, you'll have to say new WebDriver manager dot driver manager, not driver config, driver manager dot setup driver braces new Chrome driver. This is the line of code. Okay, you'll have to just a minute. A minute, huh? I'll have to import now the Chrome driver. So I can say it's available in the sorry, why I'm saying Chrome driver. It should be Chrome config. Okay. Fine. Is this clear? Now understand this line of code, not in detail because we have not covered many of the things, but in order to set up the Chrome so that you will be able to launch and run your test cases on Chrome browser, you will have to write this line of code. If you would have been using Firefox driver to load the Firefox browser, the line of code will be similar, but instead of using new Chrome config, we'll say new Firefox config. Fine. For now, just remember this. Any question, please ask quickly.
So in Java, this is the kind of driver.exe which we put in the folder structure. That is the one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in Java, also WebDriver manager is available. So WebDriver is available both for Java as well as for C#. So if you're using Java, there also, instead of downloading the driver binary exe file, better is to use WebDriver there also. WebDriver manager. Fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But in Java, WebDriver manager use is very simple. WebDriver manager Chrome driver dot setup.
Yeah,
like this.
it's not kind of simple. The syntax are different. That's fine. Yeah, in Java, the line, you'll just say WebDriver manager dot Chrome dot driver dot setup. That's fine. But here the syntax are definitely going to be changed because the bindings are different, the languages are different. Okay. So let me run.
So one question here. So
Yeah.
instead of configuring this, if I will add exe, I will download the Chrome exe. It will do the same thing, right?
Yeah, it will do same thing. But let's say in future, you are updating the Selenium version.
That's fine. Yep. Again, question here. Sorry, I interrupted you. Again, question here. So I am pushing same thing in pipeline, right? So we are not defining Chrome or anything. We are just pushing in pipeline somewhere in Java or .NET. So if we will define, because we maybe I will ask this because we are just invoking here Chrome. So I will ask that later. That is a different one. Sorry.
Yeah, we will make it configurable based on the pipeline setup. Whether
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I will discuss with you later.
yeah, this is configurable. We'll make it configurable during framework design.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right?
Yep.
So let me try to run this code. Let's see what happens. I'll run it. Let's see some.
Usually, how can we add the TXE in the Visual Studio? Like,
I'll show you. You'll have to. I'll show you. Don't worry about it.
okay.
It's trying to run. Let's see if a browser gets open or not. So Chrome driver was started successfully. We'll see the launch now. Yeah, you can see the launch now. Okay. So you can see the browser was launched. Nothing happened. I'll close it manually. Fine. Okay, so I was able to launch the Chrome driver. Now I will try to maximize this. Okay, I will try to maximize the browser that is opening. Again, that is very simple. How we can do that? In C#, I'll say driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. Okay. Now what this code will do, I'll write it here. This will launch the Chrome browser. This will maximize the browser. Okay. Now the third thing I will do is I'll try to navigate to Facebook. Just
Is there any case sensitivity like manage?
definitely, it's case sensitive.
So normally for methods, it will start with the small letter, right?
Yeah, it depends. Like in Java, all the methods start from small letter. Here you will see different thing. It depends upon language to language.
Window is a method, right? You are not mentioning.
A window is a variable
Class.
pointing to window class. It's a kind of, you can say, a reference to window class. Now it will take some time. Like I will describe these line of code in coming classes, but for at a high level, I'll tell you. Driver instance, like Chrome driver contains manage function. Inside manage function, we are calling the reference, the object of window class. In that window class, this maximize method is available or function is available.
Thanks.
So it's kind of chaining of multiple classes. Okay, maximize, if you see, maximize a function available in iWindow. Okay, iWindow interface. iWindow interface is available in Selenium namespace and so on. So today we are not going to go deep into these things. Okay, but understand window is a variable and maximize is a function. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
So now we will try to navigate to facebook.com. There are two ways to navigate to any URL. One of the ways you simply say driver.url equal to the URL link. This is one of the way. So I'll copy the link. The link from here. Okay. So this is one of the way to launch the, or not launch, to navigate to a particular URL. Another way, I will write it here, is driver.navigate dot go to URL, and inside this you can paste the URL. Oh, sorry.
Driver.get method is not available in C#.
Sorry, what you said?
Driver.get to navigate. It's not available.
Driver.get is not available in Java. We have driver.url. That navigate is in there in Java as well. Okay. So there are two ways of doing it. You can use any of them. What is the difference? We'll talk about this later. This is a very important interview question for 3, 4, 5 years of experience guy. Okay. Many of the interviewer will ask you the difference between driver.url or driver.navigate to. Like in Java, we have driver.get, driver.navigate to. Similarly, in C# we have driver.url, driver.navigate.go to URL. What's the difference between them? We'll talk about this later in the Selenium classes. For now, I'll be using one of the way. This is just it. And I'll run this program again. So browser launched, maximized. Now we are navigating to facebook.com. Okay. So this is very simple happening in front of you. You can check the second, way of navigating also. This will work also fine. There is no problem. Now today I will not go into this username and password because it will take me to explain you how what is XPath and different type of locators. That's why I'll skip this for today. I'll try to close this browser automatically after a few seconds. Like let's say I'll launch the browser, maximize it, navigate to facebook.com, hold there for 3-5 seconds using thread class, thread.sleep. I'll wait for 5,000 milliseconds. 5,000 milliseconds. So what this sleep is, if you see, it says sleep is a function available in thread class. So what this sleep function does is suspends the current thread for the specified number of milliseconds. It will just hold the execution for whatever milliseconds you have defined here. So it will wait for 5,000 milliseconds, which is nothing but 5 seconds, and then I will close the browser. So how can we do that? I'll say driver dot, we have close or we have quit. So I will be using quit. Again, what's the difference between close and quit? We'll see this in the coming sessions. Okay. So let me run this code. Waiting for 5 seconds and then it will be closed. Quit. You can see it was quitted. Fine. That's for today. I'm not going to go into more detail of Selenium today. We'll go slow and slow. We'll first learn the C# in the next class, and then we'll go for Selenium. But what I'm trying to say is the way of explaining the things is going to be the same. The energy is going to be the same. And you will understand each and everything, provided you put effort from your side. Okay, so that's for today. I'm not going to go into details of many things today. I not want to bombard you guys in the first class itself. Okay, now you are open for questions. Please ask. I have few questions in the chat. Let me go one by one. Anand is saying C# is, yeah, first let me go through the questions available in the chat, then I'll, you can unmute yourself. Just allow me. Anand is saying now C# is confused. Yeah, that was fine. One is asking, I'm using SpecFlow with .NET Framework. I'm looking for help where we can priority set group. Where do I look at it? To set group 1, 2, 3, run after one based on priority without test ng. Any inputs are appreciated. We can connect offline. I'll share you my contact detail. You can connect me offline. Okay.
Sorry. So one thing, as you mentioned, so can we do it parallelly? Like we can write something in BDD, and we can just to invoke like you did here for Chrome. So parallelly, we will learn the C# and Selenium as well. No. Okay.
Why I would like to, I'll tell you why I'm not going to do it that way, because many of you would have, it might be possible that few of you are not that comfortable with C# or with Selenium. It might be possible you have never worked on Selenium. So just to cover the C# first. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Anand is asking, can you please show me just 1 minute of after installed Visual Studio, what workloads you select? Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you at the end. Okay, now Anand, I'll cover your question. I'll take care of your question at the end. Before that, anybody have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask. For 5, I have 5-10 minutes.
So are you going with the spec for content injection and those topics, context injection?
Whatever SpecFlow provides us, I'll try to cover most of them, whatever is important for us. I know SpecFlow, not SpecFlow. Basically, BDD is very widely used nowadays in IT industry. So you should have a clear understanding of any of the BDD framework. So here we are going to run SpecFlow, and whatever different type of concepts and features are provided in SpecFlow, we'll try to cover it.
Okay. So in Java, it's BDD, here it's SpecFlow, am I correct?
Yeah, in Java, we have Cucumber. You can say SpecFlow is Cucumber for C#.
Okay.
Any other question?
How can we add namespace for Chrome driver? I have tried to click on that and it didn't take me to there.
Can you come again? I missed your question.
On Chrome driver namespace, if I want to add those, how can I do that?
Yeah, just mouse over it.
Yeah, I did it, and then
now you can see this Chrome driver. You can click on this.
All right.
It will take some time to launch a new window here.
I tried that, but
you can see this Chrome driver is available in this namespace. And Chrome driver is a class which is inheriting Chromium driver. So you can go as much as you want.
Because it's take me to another class.
Basically, Chrome driver is a library like Selenium provided class. So if you mouse over it and you click on this Chrome driver, you get navigated to the code base of Chrome driver.
Okay. Cheers. Thank you.
Any question? Okay, one more thing I would like to tell you is, if you like, I'm not sure how many of you know me. It might be possible few of you might know me. I'm not sure. But if you go through the Java lectures of whatever videos are available on V2 Automation portal or rest assured videos available, I was the trainer who took the classes initially. So you can take a reference from there. Basically, I know the pain of learning automation for a manual guy. Okay. So the way I'll be teaching, it will be very detailed and very easily. I'll try to make you guys understand anything. But whatever assignment I'll give you, be honest to yourself and try to finish those assignments. Be it assignment or interview questions or whatever resource I'll tell you, to them honestly. Okay. And believe me, one more thing I would like to add you, I'm taking interviews for last 3-4 years. Believe me, there is a crunch of good resources in the market. When we take interviews for 2 months, 3 months, then we get a good candidate. Okay. So just prepare yourself and the future is there. For ASDET, the future is always going to be there. Fees, Vipin, you can talk to Rahul Arora regarding the fees. I'm not the correct person to tell you about that. Anand is asking for help for mock interviews. You can connect me offline.
Last one, sorry. So I am actually I am working in I am using C# and using BDD everything. If I need some help from you, so can we connect sometime on weekends? Because regarding connection strings, what I am facing so many issues. You know, doing load testing in Azure to make a connection with Auth0 and all those things.
Oh, we can connect offline. I'll try to help you if I can. Okay.
Yeah. Please share your contact. So yeah.
My contact detail. So we'll definitely create a WhatsApp group. So there you will get my number. Email ID is this. Learn automation easily @gmail.com. This is my email ID. Just keep it with you guys. Mail me. I'll be replying as soon as possible. Okay, and I will ask Rahul Arora to create a WhatsApp group, and he will add me there, and we can connect over there as well. Fine, guys.
Yeah, that's fine, because I just want to make this whole class not just learning or just knowledge sharing, right? Whatever we are, even we have 2-year experience, 4-year experience, whatever we have, just collaborate the things and get it from you.
Sure. Yes, I hope this session was interactive. I hope.
Yeah, for me it was quite great. Thank you.
Anybody have any concern related to my teaching methodology? Please give me a feedback. I'm very, always try to get good feedback, whether it's a positive or negative.
It was good. It was good.
I'm getting some echo. Fine.
No, it's all good, Rahul. Very good.
Yeah. Any question? Anand was asking something, right, Anand? Anand, you were asking something to show. Can you?
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, yes. I installed the Visual Studio 2022. Then after it asked me like a workload, like what did you choose? I mean, what did you select? .NET desktop development or what?
Yeah, .NET.
Okay, so .NET desktop development, right?
Yes.
Then after we need to install it, right?
Exactly, and it will take some time, definitely.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Anyway, you guys have any issue with installation, right? I will just ping me on just mail me on this email ID, and then we can connect through other ways as well. Right now, I don't want to share my contact detail, but definitely there will be a WhatsApp group there. I'll have the, you guys can connect with me. I'll ask Rahul.
Then one more question. Are you going to install this video in the portal?
Yeah, I'm going to upload this video on the portal.
Okay, so I'll watch it then. Thank you.
Sounds fine.
Hi, Rahul.
Yes. Yeah, please go ahead.
Is there any way we can convert Java code into C#?
No.
Not possible.
Tools available. There are online tools available.
Okay.
Yeah, but not very, I would say you will face some issues while using them.
Because in my current project, currently we are doing in a Java automation, but same the client is expecting for the C# as well. So the two different framework we are going to use. So in that case, whatever we are automating the scenario, same thing need to be do in the C# itself.
We need some good resources, a good number of folks. So you'll have to increase the project, time.
But code conversion is not possible, right?
Code conversion, there are a number of tools available online. You can try at any one of them. I have not personally tried, never faced such kind of scenario in my experience.
Okay. Okay.
In few, just like 20 test cases, we migrated from Python to Golang. It was manual effort.
Oh, okay.
So when will be the next class then?
Next class,
next Sunday?
I think on next Sunday, I believe.
Okay.
You will get the communication for that. And from next weekend, like
the
next
will be in morning or same time, 8 p.m.
Look, I will tell you, next Saturday, next class will be in the night time IST, like 8 p.m. IST. And from there onwards, from the third class onwards, the classes will be 8 to 10 a.m. IST. Okay.
I'm basically a manual tester. So how can I migrate to automation? Because every time they were asking, do you have any experience in automation? If there is some interview. So what is that footstep that I need to follow?
So basically, point number one, have some patience. Point number two, complete this course. Point number three, after this course is done, practice for 1 month rigorously, and you are done.
So they will ask me about the project, right? So what can I?
Don't worry. Look, they are not going to ask which website you have automated. They will ask about the frameworks, your framework, the classes, the structure, how the execution flow was there, how were you creating the driver instance, and so on. All those things we will cover during the framework setup. Don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you.
So Ajay, it's only weekly once, the class is only Sunday?
No, weekend twice, Saturday, Sunday, but for next, like for first two class, like today I had a class, next weekend we will have only one class. And from
after that you said that the timing is changed to morning?
Yeah, from then onwards, like from third class onwards, the timing will be 8 a.m. IST. 8 to 10 a.m. IST.
Okay.
Fine. Anyway, you will get the communication for that. So guys, now I'll close this meeting. I hope this was good kind of knowledge sharing for you guys. Initially, like it was just an introduction. And whatever experience I have, whatever knowledge I have gained from my past experience, I'll try to share all of them, all of those things with you guys. Okay. So be confident. Do not hesitate. Do not think about your past. Your future is bright. Guaranteed. Thank you so much, guys. Bye. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.